YouTube. This is my first time going live from my phone. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully this is working. I was trying to do it from my computer, but it was like you need an encoder and all this stuff. And I used to have Restream back when I was like going live consecutively, but I since stopped paying for that because I didn't have the time to do it before. But I am going to attempt to start bringing back live streams now. So you will be seeing more of me um, and doing more live streams. So because I do have a slightly different availability in life now than I did previously. So I want to take advantage of that time and that schedule and really push forward with being here with you guys on YouTube and talking about all the things. Also, um, it is not, although I do love setting up my YouTube camera and getting the lights together and doing all the things, there are some times where I do want to talk makeup and stuff, and it's just a lot of extra work to charge the camera, set up the lights, make my list of what I want to talk about so I can stay on track. Like, it's just a lot of steps that go into it. And sometimes it is just easier for me to kind of just free flow like this. So if you do jump in, feel free to write something in the chat. And if you're a part of the replay, watch it later crew, I still absolutely want to hear from you. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. It is Sunday evening here in New York, and just winding down, relaxing, had a Sunday fun day, and now getting prepared to be an adult and head back into the week. So I have my handy dandy notepad here about some things that I did want to talk about. So I wanted to start off with shout out to um Justice 1980 and oh wow, not me closing the screen and then changing my lighting. Now I feel like, hold on, now we gotta go back. Open it up. Oh wait, what website was I on? I was on something with the white background. Let's see. There we go. Boom. Okay. So again, shout out to Justice 1980 and to Tracy Alicide 8152. So they were people who had commented on my video about Sephora in its flop era and all the stuff that's happening with the Sephora sale. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it. But basically the gist of the video is that people feel like the Sephora sale is kind of in its flop era because first of all, this round they didn't really advertise it like that until the sale had already started. B, there's so many new beauty consumers that people weren't really aware or understanding that only certain people could shop certain days. And even I experienced that when I went shopping. I thought it was kind of a foregone conclusion that if you are a Sephora person, you know what day you can shop and what day you can't. But it seemed like even when I went into the store, there were a lot of people who were like, I'm here for the sale. And they're like, no, let me check your account. Okay, you could start shopping on the 8th or whatever. Because I went like the 4th and the 5th, like the first 2 days. And there was so much confusion. People didn't really know what was going on. There was a lot of discussion of what is good, what is not good, and basically is Sephora sale like really at the level of what it used to be. And unfortunately, times change, things are done differently, and I think that Sephora is basically this sale, not to say it's antiquated, but like times are changing, you got to freshen up, you got to do something different. So you never know what is really going to be consistently a hit. So how do you go back? How do you start refreshing it and do something new? And basically these two people in my comment section were saying that they feel like the YouTube videos are, some creators are like gaslighting people because they're hyping it up like, oh my god, this is like the best sale ever. But then it's really not the best sale when you calculate sales from other places also. So then it's like, is this the best sale? Is it not really the best sale? Let me try and figure out in terms of things that I want to buy and the deals. And what a lot of people are experiencing is that if you go to the brand's website and you go to the family friends deals or the family friends sale, it'll be 30% off, 35% off. And it is a better deal than actually shopping the 20% off at the Sephora sale. Also, some products are just generally at a better price. So for instance, I love Burberry Goddess fragrance from, I usually purchase it at Sephora, but I went online and searched for it and I found other websites where it was cheaper than 20% off. Like they were offering 30% off and 35% off. And it was a better deal than if I would have purchased it through the Sephora sale. So I think that beauty consumers are becoming more intelligent, more nimble, more dynamic. And we're starting to realize like everything doesn't have to come from Sephora and Ulta. Where can we shop that's actually going to give us the biggest discount, the best price? And really that's the place that I want to go. Hey everybody, shout out to the people in the chat. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. But yeah, so onto the gaslighting part with the Sephora sale. So then you have the people who are just like, oh, the Sephora sale's the best. You have to shop now. This is what you need to get, all the things. I don't necessarily, I understand how that could be gaslighting because it's like you're not a Sephora employee. To most people knowledge, you don't get a direct benefit from getting money off of this. So like this is not the best sale, and why are you saying it's the best sale? And I honestly feel like those people are misguided. I know for me, especially with the fragrance deal, that is something that I just learned in 2025 about. And honestly, shout out to Fragrance Talk. I learned of all these websites that sell the fragrances that are real, legit, and it's not counterfeit, and they have sales. It could be that the influencer that you're following, that they don't know about the brand website sales, that they don't know about all these other outlets that sell discount makeup, discount fragrances, discount skincare. So they could be saying from their perspective, like, yeah, this sale's the best, because they don't know about all those other deals. And it's not necessarily that they're being malicious about it, but they just know that Sephora gives some people 20% off, and let me speak to the people who might be eligible for that 20%. They're not really taking into consideration the people who are at the 10% and the 15%. And what I will say is that because I have been in the beauty community for all this time and loved makeup for years and years and years, I remember when I was only getting the 10% off at the Sephora sales and the 15% off, and being like, oh, I gotta wait, I hope what I want doesn't sell out and stuff like that. So I'm sure there are some people who are in the wings who are waiting for that stuff. But I would definitely say, if you have a brand that you really like the brand, sign up for their email list, do their website things. Because even some, I know Huda Beauty and Kayali have like a point system where if you buy it directly from them, you could use the points as cash to get free perfume. So it's like, why would you even worry about Sephora sales when you could get free perfume? Like, granted, I don't buy enough of Kayali or Huda Beauty to qualify for anything free, but for some people, that's like a thing for them because they're always buying from those brands. So there's so many different ways to save money, and I feel like you should just search on social media for what you like, and then put how to get blank for cheap or how to get a discount on whatever the item is, and then that's going to be your best bet, because the Sephora sale is not really the end all be all when it comes to the best deals. Also, because of the state of the economy, what's happening with the stock market, a lot of outside factors, a lot of people just aren't in the position to right now make a decision to buy large skincare, hair care, makeup, fragrance purchases. So I feel like that's another reason a lot less people are talking about it. And the people who are talking about it, one, are for the views, the clicks, the engagement of it all, which I'm not knocking it because I did it too. But as a beauty shopper and lover, just things to keep in mind. That one, you know, everybody's still trying to, so Sephora Squad applications are open if I'm not mistaken. So if you are trying to get on Sephora Squad, I can imagine that it would be helpful for you to make a video that says shop the Sephora sale. In terms of brand deals and stuff like that, people may be getting other incentives behind the scenes to be like, hey, make it a Sephora sale video, and then these are the brands you need to highlight as things that people should get. So all things that you could think about. And definitely when it comes to makeup shopping, think about what you want, what you like, what works for you, and what did you get. So for me this year, I prioritized getting things that I just always wanted, and then things that were Sephora collection, because Sephora collection is 30% off and a lot of their items are at lower price points. It just makes it a much better deal. So one of the things I got, I'm not wearing it in this video, but I absolutely love it, is the Sephora matte powder foundation. I have the shade 44N, and it's like, it's just a simple plain powder foundation in a regular compact that is so hard to open. I don't know, whoever made this, they really wanted to make sure this powder foundation didn't escape. I swear, I struggle every time I try to open this thing. And when I get my nails back, it's going to be even worse. I can't even imagine. But there we go. Okay. So I don't want to blind you guys with the mirror, but just a regular powder foundation. I needed a new powder foundation, and it's funny, now that MAC has reformulated, that was going to be what I wanted to get, but got that on sale. I also got the Danessa Myricks Universal Balm, not the mattifying one, not the radiant one. I understand the hype. I get it. Review coming soon. Life changing for makeup. Like, things that would last me 8 hours, now I'm getting like 12, 13, 14-hour wear out the same exact products without doing anything different except applying this, and it is amazing. And then also what I am wearing today is along with blush, I have the House Labs bronzer. So I have the shade Jatoba Sun, which is the second deepest shade. It's like more of the cool neutral tone one. I absolutely love it. I've been wearing this every day. So those are some things that I got from the Sephora sale that I like. I have 2 shorts that show my haul. And then I also, like I said, have the other video talking about the sale. But where I did not expect coming off from the distance was Ulta with this 20% off coupon. I'm so happy that they did it, especially now that Sacred's in Ulta. Some people are going to be using it to get Sacred, to get all the different things. And I love this head-to-head competition between Sephora and Ulta. Hopefully it means more discount competitions like this. I did myself go into the Sephora app and try to find where this 20% off was. I saw it, people talking about it on Reddit. I did see it online. I was never able to make it come up in my email or in my app. And the only deal I have is earn 5 points on beauty services. But I've been seeing a lot of people on Reddit talk about the fact that they can get this 20% off at Ulta. So I'm just like, listen, I'm not buying anything, so that's why I didn't really deep dive into it. But best believe if you're shopping and you're about to get something from Ulta, go on Reddit and find out how these people are getting this 20% off. It says that it's good until April 20th and that it's a one-time purchase, and it works on Prestige, and it's your entire purchase is 20% off. And this is kind of a big deal because now that they did it for this spring, people are going to be waiting around the holiday time to be like, I'm gonna wait to see if Ulta drops a 20% off. It'll be worth it for me to wait and not buy anything yet, or to wait to the end of the Sephora savings event in the winter and be like, I have my cart ready, but if Ulta drops it, I'm gonna buy everything at Ulta and then get it from Ulta, because Ulta has the better point system and you get more money off. So if there's a product like Fenty, no, MAC's not a Sephora, that's not a good brand, but any of the brands where they're at both, you usually want to get it from Ulta because then you could get cash off. So we'll see. I thought it was very interesting. Like I said, I'm rooting for Ulta. I really hope that where I'm located currently, it's a little more difficult to get to an Ulta, so I'm hoping that they open more Ulta stores. I do know they're putting a pause on Ulta and Target, which I totally respect. Everything going on in Target right now, I can understand why Ulta is like, we got to put a pause on this. But I'm also like, just open more stores in general, please, because especially in New York, the main Ulta is, I would say, 34th Street, and then there's another one on 86th Street, but it's like, we need more. Please open more Ultas, especially for all of the outer borough people, so that way we can get the Ulta things without having to go into the mayhem of what is Midtown Manhattan. Okay, so that's all for the beauty sales. Next thing, oh my goodness, if you have not been on TikTok lately, everything on TikTok is OEMs basically not even shaking the table, flipping the table over on the luxury brand industry. So if you're not familiar, an OEM is an original equipment manufacturer. And basically what they do is your company gives them the blueprint, the plans, the proprietary information to make things for your brand, and they make it. So what happens is, I am insert expensive bag company here. I tell them what kind of leather I want, how they want them to make it, where to put the handle, where to put the clasp, and the bag is made in China. Then the OEM in China, after they finish making the bag, ships the bag to Italy, France, United States, or whatever other country. they put the tags on the bags and then sell them for an outrageous amount of money. So basically what's been happening on TikTok is these OEMs have been putting the raw materials and them making the bags on social media. So it's just like, this bag looks like a Birkin. These people behind me are making these bags. And you can see that they basically look like the same exact thing as the $68,000 Birkins here in the United States. So they're not explicitly saying we make the Birkins and then they put the tags on them in France, but they're saying we're making the bags. You see what's going on. If you want to buy one from us, contact us, because of everything that's happening with the political state between the United States and China. China has changed their rules so that way, in terms of making replicas and stuff like that, it's not going to be the same kind of punishment, is what it seems like. So then now they're just all on TikTok letting us know, hey, don't pay for that over there, call us and we'll get you the deal for the low. First of all, they don't even have TikTok in China, so I'm like, how are y'all getting on TikTok? Y'all have a different app, but they've taken over my For You page anyway, so it is crazy. So I've learned a lot. It's really interesting to see. I always love to see how the quote unquote the sausage is made. So the idea that is all this behind the scenes footage and walking through the different OEMs, seeing not only for handbags and makeup, but also for furniture, fixtures, laundry pots, like the manufacturing of laundry pots. Like, it's just so interesting to me to really see behind the scenes for all these consumer products, and then also to hear from a lot of Chinese American people who are just saying their experience of, we've been to the places, this is how it works, this is how it happens, and just Americans being so disconnected from the way our global economy works and not really understanding these things. I mean, I always kind of, being, especially in New York, we have Canal Street and some of these replicas really be replicating. So I knew that it was like a thing, that it was the same manufacturers. It was just that these left through the back door of the factory and those went out through the shipping container. But I didn't realize to what extent that was happening in the fashion industry. And it is very interesting to see, because a lot of people use, especially the Birkin bags, as like lifetime investments. So now that the industry is going to like potentially have a shakeup or a crash, it's like, for you saying like, I have millions of dollars stored in value in Birkins, it's like, well, now if they're not worth that much because we are thinking that the company's being deceptive about their creation practices, now what? Like, is your billion-dollar closet now not worth anything? Like, how is that going to be affected? How is that going to change things? In terms of some of the lower brand things, because the Hermes bags are pretty up there when it comes for what normal people are buying, well, average people are buying. And now, how is that effect going to trickle down to the people who get Coach bags, to Louis Vuitton bags, to even Nike sneakers, New Balance? They were showing all these different products. The Lululemon, they were like, this is the pile that we're going to put Lululemon tags on. This is the pile that's going to go to your favorite big box store. They both cost $5 per piece to make. Like, and like I said, a lot of us had a general awareness, like kind of this is how it works, but to see it in black and white all over TikTok right now is crazy. And I'm also saying us having an awareness of it, speaking of older people, people who are like a millennial, Gen X, boomer may have known this, but I think for a lot of the Gen Z, maybe, I don't think Gen Alpha's old enough to really be able to buy this stuff, but I definitely think for a lot of Gen Z, they're like, what do you mean just because the tag says made in France, it's not actually made in France? Like, yeah, no, nobody's, there's lots of fancy loopholes and stuff to get around that. So very interesting. But if you, like I said, if you're on TikTok, most likely you've seen it on your FYP. There's a whole bunch of people talking about it. It's really very, very interesting and exciting. For the next topic, I have fun festival clothes versus prairie dresses. So a lot of the more conservative style clothing has been debuted for spring collections for a lot of the fast fashion brands. Most notably, Pretty Little Things did a whole rebrand where now they're like sexy conservative casual, long hemlines, covered arms, like just very much going back to a more conservative way of fashion instead of the bodycon dresses and two-piece sets that they have become popular for. And basically, it's been a larger conversation on social media about how when the economy goes down, so do the hemlines, and now everybody's going to be conservative Candaces, for lack of a better name, and that the trend to be more like sexy and risque is going to be like kind of put on the back burner, with the major style thread being a more conservative look. I think that a lot of people who are saying that are people who are like older and have experience with living through financial crises before and what happened in the past. Based on the looks from Coachella, we are all over the place. I think the days of having A was the action, so B is the reaction is gone. I think things are not going to be as streamlined and easy to calculate in the same way, because I saw people at Coachella fashion wearing all different kinds of outfits that do not fit the categorization of new school conservative style. I didn't see any prairie dresses, but also it's like this is kind of the brand of people who Coachella has curated, so it's not necessarily going to be people who are doing general style, but we'll see what happens once the weather gets nice. For a lot of the, especially the East Coast of the United States, we have temperate weather, so it's still cold for the lion's share of the country. You do have certain like the parts that are always warm are warm, but for most of us, it is still, you need a jacket to go outside. And I think once the weather gets nice for real, that's going to be when we see if people are still trying to do the conservative, because especially in the Northeast where it gets a crazy amount of heat, and it is going to be 115 degrees on the subway platform, like you're not wearing an ankle length dress, like, and if you are, you're going to be soaking wet and look like you just jumped in a pool. So as much as for modesty and covering up as a lifestyle, some people, if you're not really about that life, you are not going to be able to weather what it's like to dress like that in the summer, and it is going to be a struggle. So we'll see what happens. People claim they've been seeing Lulu and people dressed in Lululemon outfits and prairie dresses in the club. I'm like, clearly, what club are you in? Because that is weird. I don't think even when like prairie dresses had really hit, what was that, like 2020 or 2021, like right during the pandemic, and like everybody, like Target had that whole prairie dress launch and everybody was wearing those kinds of fabrics. Even then, people were still like, but make it low cut, make it short, give me a slit up the thigh. Like people still wanted it to have a little extra on it. So I don't think any one particular style is going to take over. I don't think everybody's going to be wearing outrageously risque clothes, but I also don't think everybody's going to make a conservative push, because now more than ever, people are looking for opportunities to have fun, to express themselves, and to try different things. So I think that's really what people are going to be looking to do this spring and summer when it comes to their personal style. All right, so thank you so much for taking the time to come to my channel. Please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Here we're talking everything: hair, nails, travel, makeup, skincare, and I want you to be a part of the crew, so please subscribe. That way you won't miss out on any of the fun that we have on the channel. Like I said, I'm gonna try and figure out the whole thing with my computer and the laptop and the webcam and going live on that, because that is my preferred method, even though I've never tried it on the phone before. So I'm glad I did this for the first time. But I don't know how much I really like this. We'll see. I also don't have a cell phone tripod, so that could be another part of the reason why I'm not really into the going live from my phone, but we'll see what happens. But thank you so much for taking the time to watch my live stream and to listen to me yap. I hope to see you next time. All right, thanks so much for coming. Bye.